Welcome back everyone, and it's time to go ballsy! Today we'll be covering Lucifer's rampage in Black Clover. As I must say, it kinda looks like Noelle has competition. That competition is Lucifer. We can all agree that Asta has captured our hearts, and we are waiting for him to be declared the Wizard King. The storytelling has made it quite clear that as of this moment, Asta is earning his merit to be acknowledged as the strongest and the most hardworking. We as readers love Asta because of his relatability and being an inspiration to our goals in the real world. This motif of striving to be a good person despite the uneven odds that life throws at us is personified throughout every arc. Asta never gives up and tackles his problems head on via training or positive means. Everyone acknowledges his merits, which means Asta's death is going to be even more impactful in the story, as his sacrifice is tied to every single character and their feelings. With Asta's actions and words, he obviously won the readers over, the people that read the manga. But it didn't end there. He won Mimosa, made their boobs bigger. He won Noelle, made her wet. He won I'm kidding. What the
Get in my home, change my state of mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
But basically, he won Noelle, he won Mimosa, he won Rebecca, he won Sally. Like, my boy pretty much has the best harem in all of shonen.
That's why he's the GOAT!
He won Yuno and never makes him forget their promise. He won over every single royal, noble and captain in this arc, changing their perception of lower class citizens and those that are magicless. I mean, he even won over Yami. You know, Yami? The man that I sent for? Yami acknowledged him. Do you understand how much that means? So the overarching theme and plotline in this current arc is that Asta, with all of his positive characteristics, makes him able to achieve the rank of being the ultimate warrior. He's the magic knight that wields the most important weapon on humanity's side that can defeat the ultimate evil, Lucifer. Lucifer has acknowledged Asta and is only focusing on him more than anything else, as he wants to make sure Asta dies.
New op pack in the air, this gas or what?
Hey, no, we ain't smoking that Asta pack yet, my boy. Because chapter 321 made it pretty clear that he still has some more of it. I'm gonna say he has more plot armor, mate. So as I explained earlier, everyone is starting to see the true value of Asta, that he is the brightest star in the sky, as Sekke, of all people, is spectating the ongoing battle against Lucifer. So instead of, you know, self-reflection and claiming responsibility for his own failures, Sekke states everything is the king's fault and how he is in this mess all because of him. What? He's shitting massive turds looking at Lucifer himself, who stands before them, as he once again single-handedly is bitch slapping all of the captains. Now, what you need to understand is that Sekke is an antithesis to Asta's character, because instead of claiming responsibility for his actions, he even manipulated others through his words, and he also lacks strength. Sekke blames others rather than learning from his mistakes. When someone can't learn from their own mistakes, how can they become a better person or have growth? How can they improve as a magic knight? This also applies in real life. But a great example where Black Clover emphasizes this message was with Magna, as Magna was rejected by Garja and didn't have the power to learn rune magic. However, instead of following Sekke's philosophy by being offended and having a tantrum, like the people on Twitter every other day, I'm just saying, Magna worked hard and adapted his spell to defeat a full-powered Dante at 100%, whom we know is equivalent to a supreme ranked devil, making the impossible possible, which which links to Asta's philosophy. Chapter 321 is essentially displaying Sekke as a downfall of society. He's a reason why it cannot progress, but even a low-life scum like him can be inspired by Asta, meaning the world can be changed for the better if he becomes the Wizard King. Now, when we look at the chapter, despite Lucifer's overwhelming power, Yuno stands tall, ready to take on the King of the Devils, even though Sekke, Vanessa, and many others have confirmed death is all but certain. We see Lucifer blitz Yuno, slamming the ground in an attempt to finish off Asta for good. However, Yuno teleports him using his star magic, as it is an instantaneous movement, being able to outspeed even the King of Hell. Yuno then immediately transforms and teleports behind Lucifer, landing a clean hit. However, Yuno, he still can't cut through. Remember, in chapter 310 onwards, we learn Yuno has gained Saint Spirit of Zephyr, where he 100% synchronizes with the wind spirit. The sword reaches Saint stage and is capable of counteracting devil power, but Yuno now realizes the difference between him and Lucifer. It's too great in terms of power. Lucifer's gravity is stopping Yuno from putting more force behind his swing to actually wound him, which I do want to mention because Asta's my favorite. Yuno isn't built like Asta. He should have worked out and gone to the gym. Why do you guys think Asta and Yami get the most bitches in the show? I'm just saying, because they swole. Anyways, Siskolion then shows up in her Hellfire incarnate form. Keep in mind, Real's Twilight of Valhalla spell is now erased. The plot armor is not there anymore, so this causes all the other captains to be defeated, as the accumulated damage that they had received has been given to them all at once. Siskolion is able to continue fighting because the Hellfire incarnate spell grows stronger the longer it is active, putting her at the top of the power scaling between the captains. She has reached a level where her flames have become so hot, her eyes have become completely engulfed by them. Siskolion then completely blasts Lucifer with full force of her fire magic, but it doesn't even scratch him. However, he does acknowledge that her magic power is growing. Now, I'm gonna be passing the video on to Harrison for a moment because, you know, you guys know I simp for Yami. I'm just like Yami. I need to take a shit. So the captain needs a break and I'll be back.
Well, Adil could be a while, so I guess I'll take over the video for a bit now. Anyway, meanwhile, the chapter switches back to Sekke, who realizes that he can now move again thanks to Yuno's spell protecting them. This is when Sekke begins to reflect on himself. He learns the news of Yuno's second grimoire and ranking as Spade Prince, but once again doesn't acknowledge his own inadequacies in hard work. Instead, he blames Yuno's status of being born special as the reason to why he is powerful. Sekke's thoughts parallels that of the devil's world in hell. Lieb said that rank is based on the day you're born and what your magic power level is, with Sekke hard struck on the worldly things that determine status instead of shaping his own fate like Asta declared. Sekke cannot grow as a magic knight, as the story has made it clear to us that new spells and strength are gained through training, emotional events, and inspiration. Sekke laments that both became magic knights at the same time, yet the difference between them is incomparable and suggests that the two were just destined to be different from birth. And so he decides that it's time for him to make a run for it and escape for safety, which, if I may just add, is a stupid idea. Like, because as soon as he leaves Yuno's little magic domain, isn't he just gonna get crushed by Lucifer's gravity again? Like, I don't know, I'm right? You guys see where I'm coming from? Like where exactly is he planning on running away to?
Your brain doesn't fucking work, you idiot. You're honestly an idiot.
Anyway, back to the chapter. Mimosa begins to heal Asta, but Sekke tries to charm Mimosa by claiming that he was the one chosen by the king, and that they should both leave Asta and run for it. But Mimosa's not having any of it. This fool does not understand understand that Mimosa wants to see Asta's big black sword up front in person. Like, Mimosa wants that Asta pee-pee, alright. Hey, yo! And so she ignores Sekke and continues to heal Asta, despite the fact that it probably will draw some attention towards them. As much as she wants to run away with Asta right now, she can't, as she must do what she can to heal him, as that is what Asta would want. However, her recovery spell breaks as she reaches her limit, meaning that reality cannot be whatever you want, people, as she simply cannot heal Asta enough, if at all. Oh no! Despite that though, Asta thanks her and stands, ready to continue fighting despite his poor condition. And let me tell you what, I'm surprised my guy can even walk considering the absolute size of his balls. Boss. I'm surprised my guy can even walk considering the absolute size of his balls.
What do you mean by that?
Those cojones must be massive, man. Asta is borderline dead, and yet he still continues to fight, as he tells Yuno that he is on his way. No. Remember, we cannot give in just yet. Anyway, Mimosa proceeds to beg Asta not to die, reaffirming the belief everyone has in the community, that Asta has to defy fate and the prediction that Julius made. This is where we all need to share our mana. Please hit that notification bell for our channel to stay up to date with all the content, and smash that like button so that we can continue covering the greatness that is Black Clover. Whilst Asta goes off and enjoys his main protagonist duties, Sekke reflects upon his time with him. Before meeting Asta, you see, Sekke was the cool guy of his town. Everyone respected him for his admiration to join the Magic Knight, and this is why Sekke acts so big-headed all of the time, as he's just used to being the top dog. And even though he isn't, the fact that he finds himself as the king's right-hand man further makes him think that he is still above everybody else. However, upon seeing Asta's determination despite his critical condition, it inspires him, which further backs what we mentioned last week about how Asta truly is already the Wizard King. Sekke, in a flood of tears, then berates himself for not training hard like Asta did, and I think we can expect Sekke to actually unlock a new spell here, as like I said, we know that the power system in Black Clover allows the user to surpass their limits and learn new spells in situations where their emotions are high. And so I think that Sekke may remember the words that Nacht mentioned to him back in chapter 274, before the raid on the Spade Kingdom. Back then, Nacht said to Sekke, "Sacrifice your life for the sake of the people who are right." And so, by taking this into consideration, and by seeing how Asta has the willpower to stand and fight when he can't, Sekke may use his bronze creation magic to help Asta fight, possibly even by giving him a suit of armor, which was something that the ancient Greek soldiers used to wear. And we know how much inspiration Tabata has taken from ancient Greece and its mythology, with how every spell Yuno has is pretty much based upon an ancient Greek name. Oh, hang on a minute. Ah, here he is. No wonder Adil simps for Yami so much, man. They're basically the same person.
Thank you, Harrison. Let's get back to the point. Let's talk about chapter 322. This chapter throws us right into the action with the Black Bull Vice Captain Nacht planning a counterattack alongside their star, Asta. While the two gather their very last bit of strength and morale their mortal bodies can muster, can we just mention how Asta, near death's door, is still standing within Lucifer's gravity, whilst a freaking vice captain has to use Devil Union to withstand it. Asta is breaking the power scaling at the moment. So whilst this is happening, Yuno and Sisgolion are fending off Lucifer. The two are working surprisingly well together and pressuring him despite the overwhelming disadvantage that they are at. However, as Yuno states, not a single one of their attacks seem to have any sort of effect. They are done for even if they take one single clean hit. They will die. Even more ticked off, Lucifer decides that he doesn't want to waste more time on these two since killing Asta holds priority. Hence, he calls out Adrammelech to come and get rid of these two and the other captains as well. Which, by the way, finally reveals the devil's name. And as we had predicted, it was Adrammelech who entered from the second gate. Can I just say thank you? I mean it, guys. I mean, you don't know how much I appreciate all the support you guys give balls deep prediction magic. Without you hitting the notification bell and sharing your mana, especially those that became members of the channel, it's only $2 to $5 a month. You can enter our private Discord, you get free shout out in our videos. None of this would be possible, so thank you. Anyway, Adrammelech declines as they state that watching Lucifer fight is far more interesting. Like, what? This is a development all of us expected. But how could the 7th strongest supreme devil not listen to the strongest devil, right? After all, the devil's world follows only one rule, the rule of the most powerful. Well, this is exactly why Adrammelech has the audacity of saying no to Lucifer. We know that Lucifer is at only 50% of his full power due to his forced appearance. Hence, he'd be almost as strong as a rank 7 devil of the cliff off. We were told that there are 10 supreme devils, 3 of which are kings, taking rank 1, 2 and 3. If we presume Lucifer was rank 1, if he were to be at 50% of his original power, his rank in hell would drop to at least the 5th to 7th strongest, as the kings would then take rank 2 and 3 and onwards. Therefore, his power level is matching Adrammelech at this point. And this storytelling is great because it once again shows the lack of humanity in the devil world, which Liber gained through Asta's mother. Moving on, I read these devil books for you guys just to do that research that you guys love. Adrammelech was a god of Sepharvaim, and part of his name, Melech, also means king in Hebrew, possibly solidifying its position in Sepharvaim. However, Adrammelech is the president of the Senate of Demons, not a king. Whilst it is not a small achievement, especially when it is the Chancellor of Hell as well, it still isn't the rank of king. Now, according to Johann Weyer, Adrammelech is the Chancellor of the Infernal Regions, keeper of the wardrobe of the Demon King, and the president of the High Council of the Devils. He was worshipped at Sepharvaim, where people were sacrificed on his altar. This was an ancient city in the time of Babylon. He is also said to take the form of a mule or sometimes of a peacock, which explains his character design as Tabata has put these peacock-like feathers on it. But by the way, you must have noticed that I'm really focusing on the fact that Adrammelech is not a king. It's not just for memes, there's a reason behind it. Robert Silverberg's short book Basilius describes Adrammelech as the enemy of God, greater in ambition, guile, and more mischief than Satan. This implies Adrammelech's intentions in Black Clover. It could be true, considering the description that we just mentioned. Do you think that this devil will be content with being the 7th most powerful devil? No! There's a good chance that Adrammelech is hoping for Asta and the others to cast their magic and severely weaken Lucifer, who's already at only 50% of his power. As we know, there are 3 kings in hell, but since that doesn't make much sense, as a devil is selfish incarnate, they would strive to be the king of kings, making only one true king, hoping that Lucifer has a downfall. Look at Meducula. Even Meducula did everything behind Lucifer's back and didn't care about his rank or authority. Lucifer then replies to his disobedience with "Bastard!" Kind of like my parents are, "Tu bastard!" It's like, that's what this guy says. Bastard this, bastard that. Kind of reminds me of my Asian heritage. Desi parents, that's our favorite word. Bastard, you are a bastard.
Hey bastard, what are you doing? Calling the police.
Why are you calling the police?
Hello, police, please. This bastard, one bastard. Are you mad or mental?
You don't do, I'm kidding. Anyway, moving on. So basically what I'm trying to say, Lucifer only replies to his disobedience with bastard rather than having 100% authority over him. This could mean that Lucifer knows that he took a big risk by coming out abruptly at only 50% power, and that there's a chance that these superior devils might disobey him since he's not at full power. As Liber stated, ranking and power means everything in hell. So in a fit of rage, Lucifer decides, fine, I'll do it myself, as he immediately one-shots both Sisgolion and Yuno. However, something more serious with Sisgolion, however, is the fact that her Hellfire Inferno seems to have burned up a little too much. It turns out that this spell, which would continuously burn hotter and stronger, is running the risk of having her entire body turn into mana. She literally loses her arm as it is detached from her body, as there is no longer anything physical there, as Adrammelech points out the limitations of the human body. However, Asta then manages to sneak behind Lucifer successfully, and he's ready to attack him with Captain Yami's sword. But he isn't doing this alone. Nacht used his union mode to confront Lucifer head on and create a pinch with Asta, sacrificing all his devils and life force in one final atonement. However, Lucifer picks up Asta and targets him, which causes Nacht to put his final bit of power into defending Asta from Lucifer's attack. As he knows and admitted at the start of the chapter, Asta is the only hope and person that can actually damage Lucifer. So Nacht then accepts his fate. He says, I'm coming to apologize to you now, Morgan, who is his brother, and he's gonna sacrifice his life. We're all getting sad. I'm like, oh no, what's gonna happen? He's ready to die? But we all know that's not gonna happen in Black Clover. No one dies in this show, and that's good, because then Michael, the man I love the most, my captain, right? Yami jumps in a nick of time, saves his vice captain in the most badass way possible. From the handle of the sword, it looks like William Vengeance made the sword for him.
Who?
Yeah, I know, William doesn't even have a panel, man, like in the past 5 chapters. With basic power scaling, Yami is easily the strongest captain, excluding Sisgolion. My man stopped Lucifer's punch whilst being half dead from the cliff off spell with a twig of a sword, and his magic is also able to damage him because it's arcane, with Yami's sword being made from William's tree magic.
Who?
If Yami integrates dark magic into it and combines the two, then hypothetically he could open a small portal back to hell, and by doing so he can make one, and Asta could be the one to then sacrifice himself by tackling Lucifer into the portal with him. And keep in mind, Asta wouldn't be stuck in hell, as both him and Liber are manaless, so there could be an arc where Asta, just like Batman had to do after Bane, has to climb out of hell and reach that portal to come back to the normal world. Asta is the only person capable of doing so. As you know, Lucifer is dead set on focusing only on Asta, as he himself has realized he's the only person that can truly damage him, as he did so by cutting off his horn. Then again, why doesn't Lucifer just use overwhelming gravity to rip these guys' limbs off? I don't know.
That don't make no sense.
Anyway, I think you guys should go watch every devil story explained now, as I explain the history of hell in Black Clover and the inspirations to use to create the story. Goodbye.